New York, and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Right now, you have, during a pandemic that we are experiencing some of the worst results on right here in the tri-state in New York City. The president of the United States is walking around wearing protective goggles. Did you guys see this yesterday? He went to a factory in Phoenix. He had protective goggles on, but wasn't wearing a mask.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that.
They presented him with a mask to wear. He did not wear the mask. He doesn't want to wear the mask. I think that's his marketing stance. Nothing to be afraid of here, people. Look at me. I'm good, so you're good too. Now, during this visit to the factories, Trump said things like, we must reopen soon, even if people are affected badly.
That's the full quote?
That's the quote.
Even if people are affected badly.
Oh, my God.
The death toll right now is at 70,000 in the United States. And look, I'll be honest. At a certain point, yes, people are going to have to get back to work because the federal government ain't going to be able to just keep pumping y'all with cash. Or they ain't going to want to.
Did you guys see the story of the vice president of Amazon that stepped down because the company was firing protesting workers?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. He was like, he's like, I choose neither to serve nor drink the poison. He was like, I can't be a part of this. Because people were, they were putting together a walkout because they want proper equipment, proper protection. PPE, well, not PPE, but, proper protection.
Right here in New York City where de Blasio's doing, I would say doing a pretty good job. He's made some fumbles and flaws. But this is him going at the president yesterday.
President Trump wasn't there for us when we needed the testing to stop this horrible disease, and now he's talking about not helping us in our hour of need. He says in this interview he's not inclined to do bailouts. He gave a $58 billion bailout to the airline industry. A few years ago, he gave a $1.5 trillion bailout to big corporations and the wealthy. So who is he kidding? He's not inclined to do bailouts now. That means he's not inclined to help firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, police officers, doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, teachers, sanitation workers, all the people who are depending right now on the federal government stepping up and making New York City and New York State and so many other cities and states whole. So we can get back to business, so we can get back on our feet, so we can lead the recovery. So right there, he says he's not inclined to do bailouts. He's a pure hypocrite, given how much money he's put in the hands of the corporations and the wealthy already.
Right there from the desk of Captain Obvious, Bill de Blasio. You and Donald Trump haven't got along since Donald Trump got in office. What makes you think he's going to help you make you look good right now? He's going to try to make you look bad by helping this city fall apart. Mm-hmm. That's definitely going to happen. And things are definitely getting chippy with the governor, Cuomo. This happened yesterday at his press conference.
You can socially distance now on a subway because the ridership is down 92%. But when the subway is up and running, I don't think it would be possible to stay 6 feet apart. You could wear masks, you could do sanitizer. I don't know what the car capacity would go down to at 6 feet apart. Yes, when is the question? You tell me when the global pandemic is over, I'll tell you when the 24-hour service resumes. You go first.
Does that mean when there's a vaccine?
No, it's just when the pandemic is not problematic to this extent.
And last night was the first night they shut down the trains for 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Cleaning the trains. There's 2,000 homeless people, they say, that sleep on trains in the overnights. Last night. Go ahead, Cass.
Sorry. So this is like permanent until they change it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They will be shutting down the subways 1 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Every night.
Every single night. We talked about this yesterday and the day before.
Yep.
And I said whenever they decide to reopen, all of these new things that they're doing, shutting down the subways, locking down certain streets and allowing it to be foot traffic only, they're going to continue with that. This is an opportunity for them to make the changes they've always been wanting to make.
Well, they're going to be worse ones than this. Just keep it honest. Are we surprised that they don't want homeless people on the subway?
No, of course not.
Is the treatment of homeless people right? Do they have the proper accommodations and the way to care for them? No. But do commuters working want homeless people living on their subway? No. So this is not surprising at all.
And are we surprised that we're seeing videos of police beating on people in neighborhoods?
No.
During this tense time when people are stuck in their house and they come outside and they're gathering and having a good time, are we surprised that we're seeing police beating on black people?
Well, it was happening when there wasn't a tense time.
Facts. And while on the other side of town, where people are more affluent, they're walking through the park where no one has a mask on, handing out masks to help them out.
It's blatant on both sides.
It's always been blatant. It's always been right in your face, but we always prop ourselves up and amp ourselves up to hope for better. We continue to hope for better. But I think, unfortunately, that hope is running out. That's the dangerous part. And it's going to be up to great leadership to bring it back. Because are you hoping that all of a sudden Donald Trump's going to do the right thing?
Well, considering discrimination was basically horrible during every administration in our country's history, and now we have the worst, most racist leader we've had since Andrew Johnson or something like that in the 1800s, of course it's going to be all-time bad. Because remember, this discrimination was this bad or close to it when President Obama was in office.
Facts.
And now we have Donald Trump. We're in bad shape, guys. We're in bad shape.
And I know we want to talk about things that are more fun and uplifting sometimes, but we're going to have a town hall here at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Things are uptight, chippy. People are angry. People want answers. And we are so privileged as a nation that we think our leaders actually have answers. They don't. They can make some up for you. They try to do things to make you feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I hope that there is too. But sometimes they don't have the answers. And so we're going to have this town hall meeting with people who are on the front lines dealing with things every day and see what answers they do have. But unfortunately, I don't believe there is one answer that's going to make you feel great about where we are in this COVID-19, in this global pandemic. On May 15th, the governor said he's going to open up a first phase of the state. But as you just heard, the subway's being closed down from 1 to 5 a.m. That's going indefinitely. When there's a vaccine, when there's, more testing, are they going to change these things back? I don't think so. I don't think so. On the cover of the New York Post right now, it says, finally, with regard to the subways being shut down and homeless people being forced off the trains. There has always been a blatant disregard for the poor and the vulnerable, specifically the black and brown in America. New York City is the biggest city in the United States, so everything here is much larger and much louder. It is not going to get easier in this city. That's the reality. And I couldn't come up here today and just gloss over it because there's too many conversations, there's too much craziness going on, especially when you have bad leadership and you have rich, super rich in this nation that aren't going to start sharing more of their money with those at the bottom.
Well, and the gap's going to get bigger.
The gap's going to get bigger, sir. And it's going to get more tense and more chippy. And it's going to take some real strong leadership at the government level, at the city level. It's going to take activation of people, the activation of the people to actually get the money that is available allocated to those that really need it the most. And if you're not out here getting active trying to figure out how to do that, we're in trouble. That's the hope is the one thing America always had. The ability to move from the bottom to the middle. The ability to move from the middle to the top. You hope for that. But if we start thinking that that's gone and we start feeling like that's gone, where do we go next? So I leave you with that today, something to think about when it's we getting closer to getting out here and voting. There's a gentleman running in the South Bronx, or excuse me, Westchester. There's a woman running up against Michael Blake up in the Bronx that we're getting saying from AOC's team. So Michael Blake, you got to step your game up, my guy. We need answers out here. The Bronx is getting hit hard. Bronx Borough President was just on the news talking about how hard the Bronx is getting hit.
Yep.
Shout to the teams at the hospitals dealing with underfunding and old equipment and not enough equipment at Lincoln Hospital. And so there's a lot of people fighting to keep this thing on the tracks, man. But we got a tough time ahead.